Walaikum salam.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us for this session of the General Assembly today. As we wait for our colleagues to join shortly over the next few minutes, I invite you to you can make use of the chat box right now to drop introductions and where you're calling in from, what your LT is, and that will be something great for you to do. Thank you very much. Okay. Hi, IFSA friends. Thank you very much once again for joining us for today's session of the first session of the IFSA General Assembly during these difficult times. Once again, Amos Amanbo from Uganda here, the outgoing president of IFSA now. And I'll just quickly give an introduction to the General Assembly and the agenda for the day for the first session of the General Assembly. Then we will proceed with the General Assembly session. I've just gotten a note here. I will quickly invite, before we start this up, I will quickly invite our communication expert, Annabelle, to explain to everyone quickly how to set the official background for this event, if you want to have the virtual background. Thank you very much. Annabelle, please take over. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, it's not really loud, but we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you for inviting me to explain how to change the background, Amos. I will share with you the link to this image.
Hi, Annabelle. Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay. So if you would like to change your background, please go to the top left of your Zoom.
Okay, that can come on now. So.
And click the shield, the green shield button. Then you will go to your settings. Then you click on
Can you try
video.
to be louder?
Yes, I can. I'm just wondering why it's not working, my sound. Sorry for that. Can you hear me better now?
We can hear you.
Please go to your settings and then go to virtual background. Click the plus sign and then choose the image of your liking, and then you can change your background. I will write this again in the chat box so it's clear to everyone how to change. Okay, I hope that was clear. Thank you, Amos.
Thank you very much, Annabelle. I just had a technical glitch here, but you have fixed it up. Thank you very much for that. I'm looking forward to having this incredible background, everyone using this incredible IFSA background. Thank you. So to get started with today's session, dear friends, I wish to inform you, for those who are not aware already about this, you are just in the highest decision-making body of IFSA. The General Assembly is IFSA's highest decision-making body, and it is attended usually by all the members of IFSA, the honorary members, the consulting members, the ordinary members. And this is where you come to make decisions on the governing tools of IFSA, the leadership of IFSA, and the direction that IFSA takes in the next, in the upcoming IFSA year. Today, we have an agenda up for this General Assembly, and this agenda was also convoked through the same statutory process that you dictated in the previous General Assembly. This was sent out, a call for this was sent out 8 weeks before the start of the General Assembly. And we are happy that we got these contributions to the agenda of this General Assembly. This is something that is from the IFSA membership. As we go through the agenda, friends, I wish to inform you, notify you that today we will have our results from the first ballot. As you may already be aware, that the GA is made of organs, and we have in the General Assembly, we have the Board of Assembly, and we have the Elections Committee. These are one of the biggest organs also in the General Assembly that coordinate how the General Assembly runs. In the Board of Assembly, we have the chair of the Board of Assembly, we have the chair's assistant, and we have the secretary, and usually where necessary, a secretary's assistant. And for the Elections Committee, we have 3 people, usually preferably from different regions of IFSA. Previously, we sent out a call for these organs of the General Assembly, and we are happy that you voted for this. You sent out your perspectives, and these have been taken account of. So for today's assembly, part of the agenda is the first ballot results that corresponds to these particular aspects of the General Assembly. And then we will have a report from the FE IFSA UFRO Green Jobs Project that was aforementioned in the previous session of the General Assembly. Then we will have reports, presentations, and budget proposals for the next year. This is also one of the big roles of the IFSA General Assembly to discuss the use of the IFSA finances and the budgeting. We will have an explanation of the voting procedure, because this is also one of the fundamental aspects of the IFSA General Assembly. We will have commission's proposals. As you may already be aware that these are also functional units of IFSA that are charged with the task of delivering IFSA's strategic objectives in the respective areas, also bringing value for the IFSA membership. We will have a session about the honorary and consulting members, and then we will have the discharge of the board, of the IFSA board, and other officials proposed to the General Assembly 1 month after the GA. Dear friends, this is the agenda for the day. Now, we will move to the next item. Thank you. If you can just move with me to the next slide, please. Thank you. Pre-voting results. We have all proposals approved unanimously. The online GA agenda, which you approved through the online voting, the Board of Assembly, the Elections Committee, and voting stats. These are the voting stats that we have. We have 25 LCs voted. So this is 35% of the LCs eligible to vote. As I have the pleasure to inform you, friends, that for the confirmation of the LCs that are able to vote, we have 66 LCs that have been eligible to vote. And since this time, situations have changed, voting is online and it is not in-house, we take this to be the quorum, the live quorum that we have. Thank you very much for bearing with me this far. I will now hand you over to Damiano Silio to give a further elaboration on this. Thank you.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. I am Damiano. I'm really pleased to talk to you. I hope you can hear me. Does it work? Great, thank you. Okay, so I am the Vice President of IFSA for just a few hours. No, yes, for just a few hours now left. So yeah, I have the pleasure to talk to you in my capacities as Vice President for a lifetime. Please. Okay, sorry, there's been a technical issue. Okay, so now I'll talk to you about the annual report and some other topics related to it. Simo, if you can, I need to share my screen. Can I? Thank you. Great. Can you see my screen? I think yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So as described in the rule of procedures of IFSA, which are the rules and regulations that we follow with IFSA that you can find on the website, one of the points of the General Assembly is to approve the annual report. However, there has been some complications this year, and as we all know, COVID-19 happened, and that had a huge impact on our organization, which I'll talk about that later. We had a cancellation of all plans and the necessity of reestablish new plans, create new ones, and adapt them to the current situation. This has brought to postponement of many of our activities and plans and accumulations of points that we had to do during the year, and also the fact that we had to pause many activities in order to implement new ones at the same time. So right now the annual report is the current state of the annual report is a draft version, so it hasn't been finished. It's let's say 90% ready, but not in the final state. So since it didn't make sense for us to send out a final report, an annual report, which was not completely ready and in the way that we wanted to have it, we thought it was not then the case to rush things and to then take some time and to have a proper document to present. So taking into account that, as I will talk later during this session, the end of the term for liaison officers, head of subcommissions and regional representatives will be, if approved by the GA, will be on September 22nd, 2020. The proposal that we're going to discuss later on and the GA will vote with the next ballot will be to have the annual report to be presented on September 22nd as well. As I said, we will talk about this later on, and it will be a decision that needs to be approved by the GA. Again, the aim of this proposal is to have a document that's going to be 100% ready and with all the information that needs to be in there, and clear and understandable for all of the IFSA officials that will take over once we will be done with our term. The annual report is going to be composed of the following parts. There will be a chapter about IFSA volunteers, which means officials and commissioners and other positions, IFSA members, including ordinary members, consulting members, associative members, and so on. Events, which are internal events and external events. And then for the first time ever, and we're going to have, and this chapter is actually ready, it's the carbon assessment, which has been made by the new established subcommission for carbon and sustainability. And I really thank the subcommission for the incredible job they have done. So we have a calculation, approximate calculation of the emissions that IFSA had, and really, really good tips that IFSA can implement in order to reduce our emissions and to offset our emissions. Then, as proposed during the previous GA, a task force has been established to talk about the Taiwanese matter, as we call it now. That is basically a nomenclature issue that the task force is working on, and they will write a chapter in the annual report, and it will be included in there as well. Then there will be a chapter about web and social media outreach with all the stats to show how during the year our website and our social media platform have been used to reach our members. And of course, since this is a special year, as we all know, there is a chapter about IFSA and COVID. The financial reports, and last but not least, the official reports. So this is the official structure that the annual report the draft has right now. It just needs, as I said, to be completed. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about what happened during COVID now. Because I think it's a really important topic, and it has affected our association a lot, and of course has affected all our personal lives, the universities, the works that we do, and everything else. On the IFSA side, well, it's important to notice that IFSA main activities are based on travels. And as we all know, COVID-19 first problem was that the travel restrictions. Then what to do with IFSA? What we did, the first thing that we did was to establish the COVID-19 task force to support IFSA with the decisions to take and to support our members with what to do next. And right after that, I've seen how the whole IFSA group of officials wanted to help in order to, let's say, keep IFSA moving, no matter what was happening worldwide. And for this, I'm really, really thankful. And on behalf of the board, I want to thank all the officials for the amazing work that all of you have done during these times, all the officials, all the organizing committees of regional events, and all of the members that have contributed, even with small actions, to let IFSA going on in these hard times. And proudly we can say that we managed to organize quite some activities, of course, remote activities, online activities that were based on IFSA COVID action plan. And we had really, really successful regional meetings that were held online remotely and on 6 of our regions, which going from an average of 20, 30 participants with a minimum of 15 to a maximum of more than 100 participants per event, which was a huge, huge success. And we couldn't even believe to reach those amounts. And we had the launch of a new podcast. We had a series of webinars online. We had incredible campaigns on our social medias. And we have been able, with all the struggles of the time, to still keep in touch with IFSA. So with this short summary of what happened during this second part of the term, I want to thank again all of you on behalf of the board, on behalf of IFSA, for be close to each other, be supporting IFSA and contributing all over the world. So thank you very much. And with this, I am done with the presentation. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Damiano, for that great presentation. Dear friends, there might have been an oversight from the start. I wish to bring your attention close back to this as we go into the more secure aspects of the General Assembly. We have not yet announced the results of the first ballot, as I mentioned earlier on. And we are all aware that IFSA is usually, the IFSA General Assembly matches is for the IFSA members, is also open to be, upon approval of the General Assembly, to accept guests as well. So I invite you to welcome our non-IFSA members and guests. I am sure that they join with a good intent to learn more and connect with the IFSA network. This is usually based on the decisions in the IFSA General Assembly are based on a proposed second, either object or let it go through. But dear friends, I just want to invite you today to bear with us and welcome these guests to partake of the goodness of IFSA. But rather, before we do this, I invite Damiano to give us the results of the first ballot as we move forward then. Thank you.
You need to go to the previous slide then, Simone. Yes, so as Amos mentioned before, all the results, all the proposals have been approved. Only unanimously, sorry. And yes, we had the 38% of the LCAs eligible to vote voting, which means that we have reached the quorum, and then the results can be accepted by the GA. Just to clarify it, the eligible LCs are 66, and according to our rule of procedures, we need to have a quorum of 25%. So we have reached enough LCs voting, so it's perfect, and the results are approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Damiano. As one that oversaw the election, the online election process, I also then invite you to make an announcement of the Board of Assembly and the Elections Commission before we move forward. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Simone, if you could put me, or I can just create a slide maybe. Okay, so maybe we could clarify actually the points that we have been voting on. Can you go to the previous slide, Simone? Thank you. So, sorry, maybe, yeah, it's good to clarify what we have decided. So the first point is to accept the GA that has been sent out 4 weeks before, and it's on the website and has been accepted. The Board of Assembly, the proposal was to have as a chair of the Board of Assembly, Amos Ambanubo, vice chair, myself, Damiano Cilio, and minutes keeper, Kirsten, I don't remember the last name, Langmite. That's because in IFSA we always use the name. So, and then for the election committee, we have Simone Massaro, Fergus Price, and Silvanissa Puti. And both have been accepted. Amos, you're muted.
My mic is muted. Yeah, technology issues. Thank you very much, Damiano. And dear friends, this is now the valid Board of Assembly to take us through this General Assembly. And I invite your full cooperation as we go through the General Assembly. Now we go to the guests. We know that we are joined with guests, alumni, some of which are alumni, some well-wishers, and some just want to know more about IFSA. I invite you to welcome these guests. Yeah, we have Salina Abraham there, we have Janice, we have Lisa, and many other people. I invite you to join this, to join me in welcoming these guests as people who are either curious about the goodness of IFSA or people who are of goodwill towards IFSA. Thank you. If we can move to the next slide, Simone. Yeah, thank you so much. As per the General Assembly procedure demands, we also seek for an approval of the minutes of the previous General Assembly. This was sufficiently shared with you on the protected section of the IFSA website, and also in the emails that went to you a few days back. These are the minutes of the 30th General Assembly that was held in Estonia. Dear friends, I invite someone to propose for the approval of the minutes of the previous General Assembly. Anyone? You can unmute your mic and mention your name and your LC. Thank you.
Hi, should I?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, I'm Annabel Soer from IFSA Wageningen, and I propose to approve the minutes of the previous GA in Estonia.
Thank you so much, Annabel. Any objections? Anyone to second? You can put up your hand here.
I second her. I second Annabel.
Thank you very much.
Wait, who are you?
I am Oindrila, and I
LC?
second LCFRI, India.
Thank you very much, Angela from LTFRI for seconding the approval of the minutes of the previous General Assembly. Dear friends, this is the official minutes of the General Assembly and it is sealed. I have nothing to bang, but I'm just going to bang my table and put a seal on that. Thank you very much. Now, friends, we can smoothly proceed with the agenda thereof. Simone, if you can just move to the next slide. Yes, as mentioned earlier on, friends, one of the functions of the General Assembly is also to deliberate and discuss on IFSA's finances, how this should be used, and to scrutinize how it has been used. Unfortunately, our treasurer is not with us today due to some reasons here or there. She's quite under the weather health-wise, so she could join us today, and therefore we agreed that this be delegated to the Executive Secretary. As such, friends, I have the pleasure to invite President Langmate to present to us the financial report for the IFSA year 2019-2020 on behalf of the Direction and the Treasurer. Thank you. Kirsten, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Let me just get my treasurer's hat. Now I'm ready to talk finance. Half of Kata will present the report. As you see in front of us, we had a good we had lots of expenses, which means that we had lots of great events and we were able to do many fantastic things. And our income came from the Erasmus grant that we successfully received, as well as other donations and our regular partner income from AUFO and FAO. And yes, this is in euros. Apologies, my Australian keyboard doesn't have a euro symbol. And because of the COVID events, we have resulted in a surplus, which is okay because we are planning many events in the future and we're spending our money on other things such as investing in equipment for the podcasts and other kind of technology things such as this Zoom platform. If you have any questions, I might be able to answer them, but otherwise please write them in the chat box and we will email them to our lovely treasurer who will get back as soon as she can. Thank you.
Very much, Kirsten, for fitting in the shoes of Katharina, also for putting on that beautiful hat to perfectly fit in that shoes. Dear friends, this the approval of the financial report has been put in the ballot that is being sent out to you. We invite you to approve it in that ballot. If you have any questions that would have led to an objection, also we have the email of the treasurer there and the direction as well. You can send any questions therein. Therefore, as we move forward, friends, this puts an end to the financial report for the 2019-2020 year. As we move forward, yes, we have a question. Thank you so much. Can we use, there's a question, can we use the surplus freely for our purpose? Or is it? Yeah, I understand. Yeah, Kirsten, go.
Very good question. Quite a lot of the money that we receive is tied up in specific events. So FAO money should be spent on FAO events or FAO related things. Similar to the Erasmus money, it has requirements that it needs to be spent in a certain way. That being said, we have found loopholes during COVID to spend the money on things that benefit IFSA as a whole, given that we're not able to travel at the moment. But if you have an idea that you could propose to our treasurer for something that you might need funds for, which does not relate to a scholarship or anything along those lines, but something that will benefit IFSA in general, please email her.
Thank you very much for giving an answer to that. As mentioned earlier, Johannes, our finances, as you know, are used on purpose. So we cannot use them freely on purpose unless we agree to do so. Yes. We have also now a question about scholarships. No, we cannot use this money for scholarships. Thank you. Yes, if there is no other questions in the box, I would request to move forward. If there is, of course, questions, you can keep them coming there. We have upcoming sessions of the General Assembly. These questions will all be answered along the way. If then now we don't have any other questions, we have a report according to the agenda. We have, according to the agenda, we have a report from the IFSA UFRO project on green jobs. And as such, I invite Lisa Prayer to join us and give us this report. Thank you, Lisa. You can take over.
You're muted, Lisa. Could you please unmute yourself?
Now, thanks, Annabelle.
No problem.
Right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for giving me a little spot to report on the project, and congratulations to the whole team, the board, but also everyone else that was an official this year for handling the whole situation with COVID amazingly well. I know how much the meetings are usually what keeps everyone going, and I think you did an amazing job despite not being able to physically meet. And I think it also progressed IFSA a lot by well, having an online GA now, something we tried to slowly move into for 2 years now. So super, super nice to see this is happening. Right. So what I'm going to report on today is I work in a project that is called Global Student Networking and Green Jobs in the Forest Sector. And it is a joint EFI, IFSA, UFRO capacity development project that started in 2018 and it's still running until the end of next year. Short, it's called Green Jobs. So if I talk about Green Jobs, I refer to the project. And it's funded by the German Federal Ministry of Food and Agriculture. And since it's a joint project, it very much is part of IFSA as well. And that's why a quick report on what we've done so far should be delivered at the GA. Right, so just as a quick overview for those that haven't heard about the project, it's divided in 3 parts. One is management and communication and dissemination, not super exciting, but I learned in the last almost 2 years it's taking up a lot of time. As mentioned, it's the 3 organizations, the European Forest Institute, the International Union of Forest Research Organizations, and IFSA working together. And IUFRO is also giving some additional money to not quite the project, but to my colleague who works in the project with me, Juliet Ashieng, to do some extra work supporting the joint IUFRO IFSA task force on forest education. But I won't report on their work today. And then basically it's separated in 2 work packages. One is called The Future of Employment in the Forest Sector, and it's a bit more research focused. And the second one is called Networking, Capacity Building, and Engaging Students in Science Policy Processes. And this is partly a traineeship program and some support to the EFI IUFRO Young Scientist Initiative, but it's also meant to find some ways of showcasing different careers that are out there, making some efforts to share more job openings on channels like the young scientists, I think it's called, in the forest sector, the Facebook group that is administered by some IFSA alumni, but also to find other ways how we can actually support, or how me and my colleague can support IFSA. And we're always quite happy to find new links. And then there's different subpoints, of course, to those work packages, and I'll tell you a little bit about the ones that we've tackled so far in the last almost 2 years. Starting with the research side. So first comes always literature review. We wanted to find out what the employment in the forest sector looks like, and then slowly move towards the questions: what does this mean for students that are studying today? What should they need or learn in order to be ready for the work they need to do? And also finding out maybe what gaps are there in the education and the needs. So you start trying to find out what's out there, which was mostly done by my colleague, and she's now trying to put all of it together in a publication in something called Knowledge to Action, which is a new publication IFI is bringing out. And it should hopefully be out in the next 2 months, I think is what we're aiming for now. Then last autumn in November, we had an expert workshop. So once we knew a little bit what the literature says and had a couple of interviews with experts on employment, we wanted to dive in a bit deeper, and we invited people from 7 different countries, and we had 1 senior and always 1 junior expert from the country. So here you see the junior experts, and you might recognize some of the faces because we tried to include as many IFSA people as possible. This workshop also goes towards the publication, but it also laid the groundwork, and we tried to find out what questions to ask for the survey. And the survey is very much what we're at right now. And it's trying to exactly find out what is the student's position in all of this. What do students actually aspire to do in forestry? And what is their situation in their university and learning right now? How much practical work have they done? So this is what I want to talk about a bit more, because this is what I'm working with every day at the moment. The survey is titled Educating Towards Forest-Related Employment. Here's also the link if you haven't taken it yet. And the aim is to really much get a better understanding, because there is some research and some numbers about employment out there, but there's very little research done on what students actually think about it. Why do they even go into forestry? What did they expect will be their end goal? What will be their jobs? So we're trying to find out a bit more about the motivation of students by asking them what kind of employers they would work for, or what they think would be very important skills to have, and why they choose forestry in the first place, or a forest-related course. The survey has been running since June, so we're halfway through now, and it will continue running till October. And we hope to then have the first results to present by the end of the year, but you'll get a little sneak peek today as well. I think I'll skip this a bit, but we've so far have over 500 full replies and a lot of partial replies, which is a bit unfortunate, because it would be better if people could actually do the whole survey. It makes analysis a lot easier. And so far, most regions are well presented, but I think North America and Africa could still improve a bit better. So maybe this is some motivation to go and do the survey now. To make accessibility a bit easier, I just want to mention it. The survey is available in English and French, Spanish and Portuguese. And I'm super happy to announce today that from this week on, we will also have a version in in Chinese, simple Chinese. So yeah, I think an advertisement of this on social media will follow once we have the final version online. Right, about the sneak peek, just a few results so you get a better feeling of what we're actually doing. One of the simplest but also most interesting questions is, why do people study forestry? And we wanted to know, was it actually their first choice? Because a lot of conversations I had throughout my years in IFSA was people sort of fell into forestry by accident or because they couldn't get the first course. So it was nice to see that almost 70% so far replied yes, forestry was very much their first choice. And what I thought was quite nice is what brought them into it was often the job satisfaction, many times linked to working outdoors, which I think a lot of us really, really want to work in nature. And then also this idea of making a positive difference in the environment or for communities. So I thought that was very nice to see that this is one of the drivers that attracts people towards a forest career. Then interesting for IFSA, I think, and it's also a question that IFSA was very much interested in putting into this. Most people that responded that they want to continue with their education said that they would actually like to do it in another country. Almost 50% want to do a master's degree in another country that's forest related. And then there was more that want to do their PhD or maybe a non-forest related degree in another country. So moving abroad and getting a glimpse of something outside your own familiar surroundings seems to be of great interest and value to students right now. Now I need to close some chat so I can actually see what I'm presenting. Right, the other thing, and I kind of want to use this as a hook, that we were quite interested in is what type of practical experiences do you gain during your studies? And the one that was most often mentioned as being done or as being part of the curriculum even is doing an internship or a traineeship. And then we asked which of all of the practical experience people had is the most important. And internships and traineeships, but also volunteering, so maybe being an IFSA, was actually mentioned most often as being super important. So to use this to move to our own traineeship program. So as I mentioned before, part of the project is also a traineeship program. Over the course of 3 years, we have 12 traineeships, so 4 per year. And in 2019, all was well. We had 4 trainees placed. 2 were at EFI, 1 in the project, which was Damiano, 1 at a different topic. And then we had 1 trainee being at the IUFRO headquarters for 3 months and 1 trainee with GLF. And I think it was quite a success because 2 of those trainees are actually still working with the organization they were having the position in. So it's not only a super valuable experience for your CV and for gaining new skills, but it might actually even lead to a job. Unfortunately, in 2020, due to COVID, we've heard it in the last hour quite a few times. It just stopped everything. So we also had to postpone our traineeship program, but we didn't want to cancel it completely. So right now the plan is that next year, instead of 4, we will have 8 trainees. The first call, if all goes well and we can actually hire people and get them to move to Germany, Austria again, is to have a call in late 2020 and then a second call sometime in spring. And right now the topics we're discussing, just as a little advertisement, is probably 1 position in urban forestry, at least 1 position in forest employment, which would be somehow related to our project. And then at least 1 of them should also have a strong IFSA focus. So far, we discussed maybe going into the IFSA history with the 50th anniversary coming up, but there's also other options depending what is needed. Right, and then as a last sneak peek, we also asked all the people that said that they did some volunteering with IFSA, what was most valuable about this experience for them and what was the most skills they improved. And the 3 biggest here are the ability to work in an international context, makes sense, International Forestry Students Association, working groups, which you have to do quite a bit and it can be tedious, but it's also super rewarding. and for a lot of people communicating in a foreign language. And I think this is great, and it perfectly also sums up my own experience in IFSA, and it's absolutely worth getting involved because you learn so much. And now after 2 years of working, I can also tell you you learn so much that you will actually need in your working life as well. Right, as an outlook for next year, so we've accomplished quite a few of the things, but there's still a lot of gaps. We will need to do an analysis of the survey results. Then my colleague Juliet is going to delve into interviews with the employers, probably in sort of a Delphi study format. Then we need to focus a bit more on this whole showcasing career opportunities and what we've discussed so far, and started to maybe collaborate with another ongoing project in IFSA is a video project to show different people in their careers and how they got there. Then one idea I could see picking up again is to somehow highlight job opportunities on the IFSA website, though this is a bit tricky, but it might be worth exploring. And then we're always open for other ideas to collaborate with the Capacity Development Commission, as long as it's somehow related to employment or green jobs. Yeah, then we will need to focus a bit more on the capacity building initiatives, but I don't want to talk about this too much. And then in general, we're always happy to continue help IFSA where it's needed and where it's possible. Yeah. Right, thank you for giving me your attention. If you haven't done the survey yet, please do it and please share it with everyone. And otherwise, if you have any questions, fire away, and I try to find the chat. Right.
Thank you very much. Lisa, are you done?
I have a point for Lisa. I don't know, maybe if you want to explain how you were thinking of having the IFSA members sharing the surveys with their colleagues.
Okay. The easiest way is if you
Someone
go.
is downloading.
The easiest way is if you go to the IFSA website and you go to the project page. There's a page specifically for the survey, and it actually has a social media package. So if you're on Twitter or anything, please use the images and share it. But otherwise, you can always write me an email or proactively just approach a dean or a professor or anyone in your university and ask them if they would be kind enough to share the survey link and motivate their students. From my experience, we tried it with a couple of universities. This is the easiest way to get many new replies in one go. But if you have any questions or you want to get involved, you can also just send me an email and I'll get you in the loop with the other multipliers I'm in touch with. Right. If there's no questions, I'm happy to give the word back to Amos.
Thank you very much. If there is no questions for Lisa, then we can proceed with the order of the agenda, but maybe also if there is any specific questions, Lisa, if you find it convenient, you can just put your email in the chat box if convenient. If it's not, then you can just leave it there. Friends, thank you very much. We can move forward with the order of the agenda now. And the next item on the agenda, of course, is the explanation of the voting procedure. This year, quite a lot has changed. Voting is online and quite a lot has changed. And therefore, with technology and so on, it's no longer just raising up your hand with the ballot paper. No, it's different this time. And therefore, as earlier mentioned, that the General Assembly is about decision making. This is one of the significant areas of the General Assembly. I invite also Damiano Silio, the IFSA Vice President, till the next few minutes or hours or so to give an explanation of the IFSA voting procedure. Thank you very much. Over to you, Damiano.
Thank you, Amos. So yes, as a part of the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the most complicated part in IFSA was how to continue our keep on with our governance, and also the GA and the voting and everything connected to that. So as you all should know by now, we have opted to vote online through a platform. And now I'm going to explain you how it works. Okay. So you have received a first ballot in an email days ago. There was pre-GA voting, and the result has been presented at the beginning of this session. Now we'll go for the second voting. So you will receive another ballot at the end of this session with the new points to vote upon. The voting platform is Election Buddy. And how to vote. So how to vote, you can follow the online voting guideline that's on our website. You just find it on an online IFSS page. Otherwise, you can scan the QR code. Anyways, if someone can, like Simone, can post the link in the chat, maybe. And then you can find all the explanations there. But in any case, I'm gonna go through them quickly. So you will receive a ballot in your email. This is like what it looks like. Of course, this is just a test, so it's not working. The one you see here. And you need to log in your LC email. The LC email is lcname@lc.ifsa.net, which is managed by the board of your LC. If you are just a member of an LC and you want to contribute, please reach out to the board of your LC and talk to them and coordinate on how you can discuss together the voting part. If you are in the board and you have no access to the LC official email, please contact web@ifsa.net and ask for support. And of course, only the LCs eligible to vote will receive the email with the ballot. Once you open the email, you need to click on the link that you find in the ballot, and you will be transferred to a web page where you will find the ballot and you can vote straight there. I like to focus on 2 points. First, do not share the link with anybody unless it's not agreed within the board of your LC. And because each link is made individually for each LC. So if you share with someone else, then you lose the opportunity to vote. Again, each voting will use a different ballot. So for the pre-GA voting, you received 1 ballot. Now you're going to receive another one. And in 2 days, you will receive a third one. They are all different. They are different ballots. They're all different links, and you will receive each time an email. So the voting options. The voting options that we have are yes, if you're favorable for the proposal and you want to accept it. No, if you're against the proposal and you don't want to accept it. And abstain if you have no opinion or if you wish to be neutral and not express anything. Now we go to the first point that we're going to vote upon, and it's the discharge of the board, head of commissions and other officials. So, wait, yes. Due to the complexity and the length connected to online vetting and the voting, we decided to simplify the process. Just to make an example, we have 51 positions. If we had to have a vetting for each of them, would mean 3 minutes per person. That's already 150 minutes that we should watch on a video on YouTube, which is a really long process, and we decided then to simplify it. Then the elections will be limited to those officials that are strictly needed to guarantee a continuation of the governance of the association. And this means the board, which is made of 7 officials, and the head of commissions, 3 officials. These 10 officials then, through an open call, we'll select the remaining positions. That means we'll select regional representatives, liaison officers, head of subcommissions. The open call will take approximately 30 days. So 15 days for the open call, 10 days to select the candidates, and then other 5-10 days to set everything up. So more or less 30 days. That's why we came up with this proposal. And the proposal is to, following the rule of procedure, to discharge the board and the head of commissions with this GA, and then to discharge the other officials on the 22nd of September 2020. That means exactly 1 month after the end of the GA. Discharging the officials 1 month after would allow to the new board and head of commissions to find the next officials, and then we will be able to cover this gap and have a continuation of the IFSA activity during this time. And so this is the first proposal. And this proposal, to vote, you'll need to go through to vote with yes, no, or abstain. The second point is about the financial reports and budget proposal. The financial documents presented that we need to accept are the financial report for the calendar year 2019, the financial report for the IFSA term 2019-2020, and budget proposal IFSA term 2020-21. Again, to accept them, we need to vote for either yes or no or abstain. Then, as already discussed before the beginning about the annual report, the proposal is to present it and accept it on September 22nd, 2020, together with the end of the term of the other officials. To vote, again, yes, no, or abstain. Then, this is another point really important for the future officials. According to the ROPs, the commissions are valid only for 1 IFSA term. So all the commissions that have been decided during the last GA will cease to be valid now with this GA, and we need to create or continue the commissions. Therefore, we either reapprove the commissions that we had, establish new ones, and this in theory needs to be done at each GA. When reapproving commissions, we can also reapprove them doing changes to them. We don't need to approve the whole package. We can adapt it in the way we deem the best. The first proposal comes from the Communication Commission. The Communication Commission has created a document that you will find in the ballot, so you can read the whole proposal. And their proposal regards all the commissions that you see listed here. And we have 4 commissions that will continue, 1 commission that will be moved to another commission, and the creation of 2 commissions, that's podcast and Wikipedia subcommissions. To vote for this proposal, we can use yes or no or abstain. Capacity Development Commission proposal was elaborated by the Capacity Development Commission. And in this case, we have 5 commissions that will should continue. 1 commission to be discontinued, that's project and grants. 1 commission that's moving, so it's going to be included now in CDC from Communication Commission, that's Treehouse. And then the creation of a new subcommission called IFSA 3 Learning. To vote, yes, no, or abstain. Then from the external department, we had two joint proposals made together, and you will find in a single document, and you will vote for the single document. And regard to the creation of a completely new subcommission, completely new commission, which is the Partners Commission, which should replace the liaison officers completely. So we will have C4, which will continue. EFI will continue. FAO will be moved from what was the International Policy Commission. The Forest Dialogue will be separated from RICOFS. ITO will continue. IUCN will be moved from what was the International Policy Commission. UFRO will continue. RICOF will continue with the separation of the Forest Dialogue. Unity Landscape will discontinue as a subcommission, but will be merged to C4. Okay, then the next part of the proposal of the externals is about the International Processes Commission, which first we should notice how yes, the name has changed. The proposal sees the name to change from policy to processes, which that's because we decided to split the partners and organizations in the Partners Commission and all the processes in what was the IPC. So we have FAO to move to Partners Commission, Forest Hub to stay in IPC, IUCN to move to Partners Commission, UNCBD to continue, UNEP to continue with the head of GPI and UNRED, UNFCCC to continue with addition of UNCCD, and UNFF to continue. As I said before, these two proposals, so PAC and IPC, will be voted as a single proposal, which is the external proposal. And to vote, you can choose yes, no, or abstain. I'm seeing there are comments. Yes, okay. In case there are questions, I will answer when I'll finish the presentation. And then now we have the last 2 points for the ballot, and they use two different another voting option compared to the previous one, that yes, no, or abstain. And will be, if you check the box, it means that you're favorable to the nomination. If you uncheck it and you leave it not checked, you're against the nomination. And if you wish not to express any opinion at all, then you can abstain. Again, if you check and uncheck, it works for each candidate. If you abstain, it's if you want to abstain for all the nominations. Consulting members will use this system. And just to recap, consulting members is any person who contributes with their experience to IFSA and that served IFSA as an official. When we appoint a consulting member, the position lasts 3 years and it can be renewed. There are no limits in numbers of consulting members that we can appoint every year. And you will find all the list of nominated consulting members in the ballot, and each nomination will have a rationale to explain the reasoning behind it. To vote, you can check the box for each nomination or uncheck it if you don't want to have that person as a consulting member. And if you wish to abstain for all the consulting members' nominations, then you can abstain. Each nomination will pass if it will reach the majority of the voting LCs. We have 15 candidates, 15 nominations for consulting members. Honorary members are, an honorary member is any person that IFSA wishes to honor for their service to IFSA. And they must accept the nomination, of course, to be nominated as such. And we can, in this case, have only 3 honorary members appointed per GA, not more than 3 honorary members. You will find all the nominations on the ballot, and each nomination will have a rationale. To vote, again, is check, uncheck, and abstain for all. Luckily, since the maximum is just 3 honorary members per GA, this year we have 2 candidates, so it's going to be quite easy compared to other years. And again, Once you have voted, you need to check your vote again. You will have a verification page. And once you have verified and you are fine with the votes that you have decided, then you can submit the ballot pressing on the right button. Please notice that you cannot change your vote once you have submitted the ballots, and you cannot get a new ballot or another ballot in any case. So be really careful when you submit it and be sure of what you're doing. So all the information and all the documents about the candidates and the documents that we have talked today are available right now on the IFSA website. The link is ifsa.net online-IFSS. You find the QR code here. And to access all the pages that have a star, you need to use a password that is IFSA Silvestris 2020. I will write it later in the chat box. Once you click on useful documents and you write the password, then you will find all the documents that we have been talking today. That's the Communication Commission proposal, the Capacity Development Commission proposal, and the proposal made from the external department about the IPC and PAC commissions. You will find there won't be the annual report document, as there is just a draft now. And then about the finances, we'll have all the reports and the budget as mentioned before. Now it's time for the questions. Okay, I see that a lot of people have written while I was talking.
Yeah, can I just make a quick clarification for everyone how to share their details with us?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Jai asked everyone, please, to change your name on Zoom. You can do that by going to your own small rectangle and you click on the 3 dots. And then you go to rename. And then please enter there your first and last name, the local committee name, and the country of your local committee, please. Please don't add it in the chat box, but just inside of your own details, as I just described. Yeah, just to clarify this process. Thank you, Damiano.
So I see some raised hands. Amos?
No, I just wanted to actually make that quick clarification that if you can post your question in the chat box, you can raise your hand so that you can see if you prefer to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I saw before when I was talking, I think Junaid raised his hand, but I'm not sure.
Janice, maybe?
Or Junaid, I saw, but maybe I'm wrong because I was talking and I saw some notification popping up and I'm not sure. Yes, okay, that's a good question. You find, I'm answering to Poonam about the, no, maybe Poonam was asking about the country for the, okay, but maybe I can just make this point anyways. The voting will be possible for the LC, not for the members. So we have 1 ballot for each LC. There won't be ballots for members. So if you wish to vote, you need to get in contact with your LC and you need to coordinate internally with your LC. To Janice, the boxes are unchecked, so they are empty. The boxes for the nominations of consulting members and honorary members are unchecked. So if you want to accept the proposal, you need to check it. If you leave it empty, it counts like you don't want to accept the proposal. You're against the proposal. Okay, I asked the ballot, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, all the LCs will receive their ballot in their official IFSA emails. And the official IFSA emails is lcname at lcifsa.net. So you need to access to their email. If you don't have access to your official IFSA email, please contact web@ifsa.net. And then we can reset the password and you can receive a new password and you can access to your email. Then I see Agustin has raised the hand. Please, Agustin.
Yes, can you hear me, Damiano?
Yes, loud and clear, perfect.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that I understood that you were planning on open a fourth commission, or not?
Yes, yes.
So if this gets approved, is this like the head of commission and the sub-commissions are going to be offered in the open call that is going to be in the next open call that's coming?
Yes, good question. Yes, so the proposal is to establish a new commission, which, let's say, in practice, it's just changing the name. Sorry, guys, who is not speaking, please mute your microphone. In practice, we are not changing the positions because we just changed the name from liaison officers to sub-commissioners. So let's say in practice is the same. In theory, we are changing the structure. You will find all the reasoning behind this proposal in the document. And yes, if it gets approved, it means that during the next open call, we'll have also the IFSA members will have the opportunity to run for those positions. Just to clarify, in case that the proposals won't be accepted with this ballot, so during the next 2 days, it means that we need to come up with a really quickly with a new proposal to present it on Thursday and then vote again. Okay, so in case you have doubts about the proposals and you think something should be changed or anything else, and you are not sure on voting yes for the proposal, please reach out to the team, to the group has elaborated the proposals. So in case of the Communication Commission, reached out to them, externals, you can reach out to the externals, and CDC, you can reach out to CDC to have clarifications. Thank you. Okay, answering to Umar, my question is that are going to get our ballot from our email or through the website app? You'll get your ballot in your email. So you need to have access to your email. Then in the email, you find the link to go to the website of the election body. With no email, you have no link. So you have to open the email and have access to the emails. Other questions?
Yeah, I have another question.
Yes, sure.
Hi, this is Annabelle. Until when can we vote? When is the deadline for voting?
Yes. So basically, you will receive the email with a new ballot at the end of this session, within 2 hours from the end of this session. And then you will have time until Thursday. Not sure now. I think the deadline is
UTC plus 0.
12, yes, exactly. I was right. So 12 p.m. UTC plus 0 will be the deadline. On Thursday will be the deadline for the next ballot. If you don't know what UTC plus 0 is, just Google it, find out the UTC where you are, and you just make addition or subtractions to that amount, and you'll find the time in your place. Or actually, there are websites that just do that automatically, so it's easy.
His hand up.
So I was reading in the chat box. There is a question for Emmanuel Meffel. You're virtually saying that would have to decide on the proposals first before the final voting day comes. No, you will receive the ballot now, and then for the next 48 hours, you will have to take a decision and vote through the ballots. There is no final voting day. You have 2 days of time, 48 hours for every LC on this planet, and 48 hours starting from the end of the session, arriving before the beginning of the session. Thank you, Fergus, for the question. I just water it and put fertilizer. Then the vetting, okay, the vetting, Murtada, that's for, we'll present it later. We'll have in the second to last slide of this session, there will be a new agenda and there will be an explanation of what's going to happen on Thursday. There will be the vetting of all the candidates, but this is for later. In any case, you find the agenda on the website again. Okay, and then.
Yeah, I actually saw Stefani's hand up. I don't know if she still has the question.
Thank you for the assistance, Amos. Stephanie?
Hi, guys. No, I'm sorry. It was a mistake.
Fine. Okay, but in case during the next 48 hours you have doubts or questions, please reach out to us. You can write an email to ga.support@ifsa.net. Thank you, Lisa. You are faster than me. So you can ask us whatever you want. And if you have doubts, for example, what you can do and you don't know what to vote on, your decision, you can also ask to other LCs for opinions, to your regional representatives, but that's something that's internally decided by you, okay? Nobody from the IFSA officials is gonna tell you what you have to vote on. It's your decision, but if you wish to share and exchange opinions, please do that. I think it can be really helpful. And definitely try to involve the members of your LC as much as you can. Those that are interested to vote and to what's going to happen next in IFSA. And if there are no questions, I think
we can talk about the batching because it's ready.
Yes. Okay. Okay. For the vetting. So for the vetting, what's going to happen in the next session on Thursday? Again, the next session will start at the same time like today, so 1 p.m. UTC +0. There will be introduction of the day and other items before presentations of the results, and then we'll go to the vetting. During the vetting, the 2 LCs running for the organization of IFSS 2022 will have the possibility to present for 5 minutes each, and then they will have 10 minutes each for questions, so where everybody can ask them questions. Right after this, we'll have the vetting from the direction, the council, and the head of commissions. We have quite a lot of candidates, so the day will be really, really packed, and I ask all of you who are going to present to stay within your time, because otherwise we need to cut you, and that's really nice to do. So there will be a limited time for each candidate. You have received an email with all the details, and you will soon receive some questions. For this, it's just valid for the candidates running for positions. You will receive some questions from the board in the next hours. And for all of the others, to see the applications made by the candidates, again, you go on the ifsaweb.net/ online IFSS. You write the password on when you go in the button for elections. Password IFSS. No. Well, my God, I'm getting confused. IFSA Silvestris. Yeah, I'm always get confused if it's IFSS
IFSA
or
Silvestris 2020.
Thank you. IFSA Silvestris with IFSA in caps, in uppercase, with no space in between. And then you will find all the motivation letters. You will find all the videos. So I warmly advise all of the LCs to go to watch the videos and read the letters in these 2 days. So when will come the time for the vetting, you already know what these guys are going to talk, and you can better have an overview of the situation. If you're really quick, but you really need to be quick, you can still ask questions to the candidates, but you need to do it by today, so we can send the emails, the questions to the candidates, and they can answer. Otherwise, you will have an opportunity to ask questions during the next session. To the LCs, you will have 10 minutes each, and to the positions, where we will have more than one candidate, you will have 20 minutes in total to ask questions. In any case, there will be a complete, we will follow you through the process, and we'll tell you the exact times that we'll have, so everything will be easy. And questions? Maybe it's worth to say that all of this seems just a bunch of few things, but we started to plan this quite a long ago, and it took a lot of time because it's slightly different from the usual GA, and for the first time ever, we're just voting online, which is not the easiest process. So maybe it's not perfect, but we tried our best. And of course, for the future, if you have comments or anything to improve this system, please, they're really, really welcome. So hopefully we can have in the future a better and better and better process in IFSA. Anything else?
I have one more question, Damiano.
Yes.
And I'm just echoing this because I got the question from someone else.
Yes.
Do applicants for positions, do they need to present again next to having sent in their motivation letter and motivation video?
Yes. They will receive questions from the board, and they will have to answer to the questions in a really limited time. That right now, too many numbers and too many new rules. It should be 3-4 minutes per candidate. And then for the board, for the president, will be 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I received a comment in private, but I'm going to answer here. If you know that you have paid the membership fee, please send an email to ga.support@ifsa.net with a copy of the receipt of the payment of the membership fee, because it might happen that some LCs have been missed and left out for mistake, but it was, if you have paid and you haven't received the email, that's just a mistake. I repeat it again, we haven't sent out yet the second email, so there is no second ballot out yet. Okay. Poonam, what do you exactly mean with your question? The presentation? You will receive the questions from us in the next today, or yes, by today or maximum, let's say 24 hours, and then you'll have to present on Thursday, 1 p.m. UTC +0. You can find the agenda on the IFSA website. And if you think, within brackets, if you think that something is missing from the website that you think should be there to help all the other members, please let us know through the same email, ga.support@ifsa.net, and tell us so we can just put it on the website immediately.
We have enough time for questions, guys. We still have a lot of time for this session. You can ask your questions if there's any. Make sure you ask as much as possible so that you don't get stuck.
Yes. And even if you think that a question might be stupid, it's going to be helpful for many others. So there is no stupid question in IFSA ever. Really ask everything you think might be important. You can either raise your hand or write it in the chat box.
Yeah, there is a hand up. Ibrahim.
I don't see it, but I trust you. Okay, Ibrahim, please.
Yeah, I see it. The hand is still up.
I don't see it in mine.
I see it. Can you? Oh, that's an applause. That's a clap. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, it's a clap, and I was clapping myself now. Just
Questions, please.
I see Janice.
Yeah.
Hi, I just had a question. When somebody asks a question for one of the candidates, will that be shared publicly at all before the final voting deadline? Or do you just ask your own question and you get your own response back?
Okay, that's a good question. So we gave, the initial idea was to give two possibilities to the members to ask questions. The first one was prior to the vetting day through the website. So on the website where you have the candidates, you have a button for each candidate where you can ask a question. And the question is supposed to be sent to the candidates, and then the answer with the question to be uploaded on the website, so to be publicly, but all at the same time, of course, because otherwise, if these candidates for the same position receive similar questions, they can influence each other. So far, the opportunity was up on the website, but we have received no question for the candidates. So there are no questions and answers uploaded on the website. So please, at least one question, write it down, any of you, just to make it worth it. I'm kidding. And then the second option is to ask questions during the vetting. The day would be pretty packed, so there won't be a lot of time for questions during the vetting, but some people will be able to ask questions, and then they will be answered on the moment. Yes, Simo?
The question will be sent to the candidates 24 hours before the start of the session. So it means like tomorrow around this hour, or maybe 2 hours earlier. So if you want to send your question to the candidates, and be sure it's published on the website and then included in the question that are asked in the GA, do it quickly. So you have like 1 day, 24 hours should be enough. Or that's it.
Yeah. Thank you. And add something else. Yes, I think yeah, about the questions, that's it.
Janice, I hope that was satisfactory.
Yeah, thank you for answering. The only unsatisfactory thing is no questions. So just chipping in as an alumni member here, I encourage you all really to think about the leadership of your IFSA also in these very challenging global times, thinking how we can connect and continue to build and grow. So don't be shy to ask questions from those people running for positions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, that's a really good point. And also, I want to make a comment. I think probably, yeah, I've been in any IFSA meeting I've been, Janice was always there. And this is another confirmation that that's the case. And now this is happening like for 4 years, bro, or yeah, so quite a long time. Okay. There is something I wanted to add. We're not sure still how to handle it, but during a normal, a usual IFSS, during the usual vetting, when you have more than one candidate running for the same position, they are excluded from the presentation of the other candidate and need to leave the room. In this case, we need to find a way to do it, if either kicking out the candidate for a few minutes or I don't know, we need to sort that out. Hopefully we'll be able to sort that out. I'm not sure. In case we're not able, please understand the limitations of the remote systems. I got another question. I got another question privately. The email address that you can forward your proof of payment of the membership. So as mentioned before, our treasurer is currently not available probably for the next days. So if you write to treasurer@ifsa.net, you might not receive an answer. So I would advise you to write to this email in case your LC has paid the membership fee, but you haven't received the first ballot. Write to that email sending the proof of payment, so a copy of the payment, and asking for explanations. And also, if by tomorrow, by 24 hours, you haven't received the second ballot while you have received the first one, please contact us through the same email. There might have been a bug or an issue, technical issue. Yes, so I don't know if there are other questions. If there are none, either it's a good sign or a really bad sign.
Yeah, but we're hopeful that we can keep getting more questions in the email even after this call. If you have other questions, you can send them out.
Janice, do you want to say something?
May I bother you with one more question?
As many as you want.
I just wonder, so now each LC has to vote for their candidates for commissions, rather for these commissions and so on, if they'll be passed or not.
Yes.
But if I saw a commission now that I'm interested in, and I think that's really a cool topic, and maybe I want to participate as a member, what would I do, supposing that I was still a student?
Yes, okay, thank you. So before I mentioned the fact that the proposal of discharging the officials will be split with board and head of commissions to be discharged now and to be elected, therefore, now during this GA. And then for the rest of the officials to be in charge for 1 month extra until September 22nd. In this time, the new board will send out an open call for all the positions that are still vacant. That means all the subcommissions, not liaison officers if the proposal is accepted, and so subcommissions and regional representatives. So answering to Janice's question, if the proposals will be accepted, then you can run for any of the subcommissions that you will find in those tables. And you will find all the details on how to apply soon on the website of IFSA. So follow ifsa.net/news, if I'm not wrong with a link. And then you will be updated when the open call will be out. And I warmly welcome all of you to apply if you have any interest in contributing to IFSA as an official. And if you do not want to take any huge responsibilities and you don't want to become head of a commission, head of a subcommission, you can still become a commissioner within one of those subcommissions. So you can still contribute with no obligations towards IFSA. So yes, and the same, I already mentioned to them yesterday, the same for the LCs running for the IFSS. In case you don't get it, there will be other opportunities. So don't waste your presentation, and your planning can be used for something else for sure. Reach out to the regional representatives, reach out to the new board. You can for sure use your idea again. And yeah, I'm so looking forward what's going to happen next year. And I see a message from Itzhak. Okay, so there is a technical issues connected to last-minute payments because we are not able to access to our bank accounts because the treasurer is currently not available. So we cannot verify who has paid. And therefore, I'm afraid that who wants to pay right now is going to be excluded anyways from the voting. It depends on how the treasurer will be available again. Unfortunately, only the treasurer has the access to our account, bank accounts. So we cannot do anything about that. Anything else? We still have some time, so if you want to ask something, we have time. But also, if you have questions later, you can write to the same email, ga.support@ifsa.net.
I think now that we have to wait for questions, since there is also a support email there, we can bring the session for questions to an end. But it doesn't end here. Even after this, you have all the contacts on the IFSA website. You can always reach out there.
Yes.
There's a question. Last question.
Simone?
I think
My
Simone is
question, can we
referring
play
to
a
music.
song?
I knew it. So we have. He asked if we can play a song.
Yeah, I think we have quite a few items on the agenda now. If we can just wrap that up. I knew you were going to ask that question. Since yesterday, a lot of people stayed back in the GA. We can have a mini IFSA disco after the items on the agenda is done. We have just a few items, and I'm hopeful that we can finish this business now before we proceed.
I have a question for everybody, also for later. We should take a screenshot of the participants. So if at the end we can all turn on the cameras and we take a picture when our chair of the Board of Assembly will tell us to do so. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Damiano, for that elaborate explanation into the votation process and all the commission's proposals and the honorary members. Dear friends, all this information is on the website. You want to gather like this again, you want a great future for IFSA, please go and read there as much as you can, get the courage to run for a position, and there's a lot you can offer for IFSA. I encourage you to go there and read that, and yeah, if you have any questions, please put them forth. And then lastly, just about the voting, also to re-echo the thing that the words of Damiano, you will have to collaborate. This is what IFSA is about. It's about collaborating. It's not a one-man vote or one vote. You have to work as a group in your LC to put your vote forward. So this, before I go to wrap up on the next agenda, there is an important, on the next item on the agenda, there is an important task that I have to do now with regards to the IFSA board that we have now. This is a very important task that the GA has to run. Now that the board term has come to an end. As earlier on, we requested for the discharge of the board and the ones of other officials later on. At this opportune moment, I would like to table this up and invite someone to propose the discharge of the current IFSA board. In the board, it has been myself as the president, Damiano Silio as vice president, Kirsten Langmaid as the executive secretary, Katharina Smith as the treasurer. We had Daniel Guerra, the membership counselor. We had GIE, Chu, internal affairs counselor and the head of council. And then we had Maximilian Schubert, the external affairs council. You can go and see this on the website, on the IFSA website. It's there, ifsa.net/teams, if I'm right. At this moment, I invite some IFSA member, please, your name and your LC, propose the discharge of the IFSA board.
Hi, I'm Oindruli Vasu from IFSA LCFRI, India, and I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate our current board for their amazing work this year, even under such conditions, and would propose to our Board of Assembly to discharge them of their duties of this IFSA year, IFSA 1920.
Should I second or? It's very quiet.
Yeah,
Thank you. Who is seconding?
Yes, hi, this is Annabel Soer from IFSA Wageningen, and I second Oendrila's request to discharge.
Thank you very much, Annabel, for seconding Oendrila's proposal to discharge the board now. This is sealed. Thank you very much for having worked with the IFSA board to this far. And from now until the next board, it will be the Board of Assembly running the General Assembly until we get the new board. Thank you very much. It's been a nice and great opportunity to work with you guys. Just then to wrap this up, this session of the General Assembly before we go into an IFSA disco after this, also a photo for the team. We have second session of the General Assembly on Thursday. Simone, can you put that slide up, please? Thank you very much. So this is the agenda for Thursday's session, as already very detailed explained by Damiano. We will have an introduction of the General Assembly, agenda for the day, results of the second ballot, which will be sent out shortly, explanation of the third ballot and round of voting, presentations and vetting from IFSS 2022, this is the 50th. Very important anniversary. Vetting of the direction, very important for leadership and sustainability. Vetting for council, vetting for head of commissions. We have questions and answers also, as earlier explained, and then a wrap up from the chair of the Board of Assembly. I just want to say sincere thanks to all of you for being patient with this and for standing with us throughout the COVID times and even participating in this General Assembly. As over the next couple of days, please get to the website, read as much as you can, also from the candidates as well, so that you can make wise decisions. At this moment, I wish to declare, if there is nothing else, I wish to declare the second session of the IFSA, the first session of the IFSA General Assembly closed. Thank you. If we can all turn on our cameras now and just have a screenshot of this session, that would be great. Turn on your cameras, friends. I can't see the cameras on, only Janice.
All right, everyone, big smiles.
Kasten is our photographer, by the way.
Nice camera, Kirsten.
Because
So
there's
if
many of
Kirsten
you
is,
taking a while. Big
Is that done?
smiles. I guess not done.
so who's our DJ for today?
I think you should be because you ask.
I should.
Yeah.
I don't know what to play.
Smiled quite enough. I don't know if the photos are ready now.
On behalf of
I hope
Dolores,
so.
I'm going to say Shakira.
I'm actually